What's going on, Leo? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a great week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just the best, Leo, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy how yourself has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. So, Leo, it's your general energy weekly spread. Or something. I don't know what I'm doing with that intro. But with this weekly spread, whenever you happen to come across this video, Leo, there may be some messages in here for you. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Leo. So Leo, I'm going to be pulling a few oracle cards from this deck, and then we'll be getting some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And then in case if you all were curious, thank you, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below, I got some links for some other readers that I like watching as well, so go ahead and share them, go show them some love. I mean, maybe even tell them that I sent you over there, Leo. Let's spread the love, but let's see what your first card is here. Oh, okay, I guess we're not spreading too much love here because you got the fifth card of Capricorns here, which is the Dear John card. And with this card, this is a card of rejection, cold hard truth, breaking up, set boundaries, divorce, strained situation, it's not you, it's me, the end, final word, cutting cords, and something's not working. And you know, Leo, the energies that kind of stuck out to me here are definitely the rejection and the strained situation here. And I feel like that maybe for some of you, maybe we're in this place where this could even be like maybe some of us are been applying for some jobs or things along those lines. You know, though I've been hearing that the market's been looking a little tight here in some certain areas, and maybe we've been going through we've been doing interview after interview after interview, and it's just been nothing but just rejections. And I'll tell you what, the interviewing process is brutal sometimes. Really kind of can really strain the self-esteem and get you just in a weird place where it's just like you're trying to sell yourself all the time, and it's just like when people tell you no, that is kind of disheartening. But, and I know how cliche this is going to sound, but I do feel like, you know, when one door closes, another one opens. But the thing too, with these rejections, for example, if this is maybe with work, for example, one thing that we can take, how we can get some nuggets of wisdom out of this is asking them, you know, if this was through an email, it's like, hey, do you mind maybe hopping on a call or maybe sending some follow-up notes? You know, what ways could I have improved? You know, was it that I wasn't a good fit for the role? Was there somebody that could have had more skills? And, you know, what skills did they have so that I can learn from this stuff? It's like I feel like if we can maybe change the perspective of how we're looking at this, we can turn this to our advantage, because, you know, really the end is just a new beginning for something, you know. But, and let's say if this is, because maybe this has been something maybe for some others. Maybe if we've been looking for love, because Venus is in Leo right now, you know, you might be feeling a little passionate, be feeling all this love. We still got Mars in Leo for a little while, so maybe we've been feeling maybe either we've been feeling rejected, or maybe just haven't been finding the energies that we're looking for. Maybe we're looking for something more serious, or this could be maybe on the flip side. Maybe you've been turning down people, Leo. Maybe you've been looking real good and you're just like, nah, it's not you, it's me. Which, I mean, Leo, be mindful of breaking hearts out there. You know you can't help it being the sun. But I do feel that maybe if we've been noticing some rejections and things, this could be the energies kind of saying, you know what, let's focus on you right now. You know, build up your self-esteem, focus on your passions, you know, take yourself out on a date, you know, like going by yourself. You know, I remember I used to work in food and beverage years ago. And there's one woman, I still remember her in particular. She came in one day, and I mean, she did it right. She got a table, got a nice little table by herself, lovely little view. I was living in Washington State at the time, and the restaurant I was working at had a great view of the Needle. She was just sitting at the table there. She got herself a full course, got a good little bottle of wine there. I mean, she was living her best life. Salad, appetizer, main course, dessert, and I remember other people when they were coming on, they were just like, is she waiting on someone? I was just like, nope, just her herself. I think she had pulled out even a book at one point, and a lot of people were saying like, man, I wish that I was that confident to do that. And you know what? It's just, I had thought about that, and I was just like, I wonder why we don't feel that confident to do more stuff by ourselves, because that can be empowering. Sometimes we don't have to go out there to impress anybody other than just going out there and treating ourselves. So I feel like that this is something that you can take. This really could be a good time to really just establish a tight bond with yourself and work on you. And then who knows? Because I tell you what, confidence is attractive, Leo. And I feel like, if you're welcoming that energy, this could be something. Maybe you're kind of chilling at the bar doing your thing, and then who knows? Maybe who knows what kind of energies may come your way? Might meet that special someone there. But let's get some tarot on this and get some details. Oh, first time actually working with these cards here. Busting out some, speaking of the Empress. Hold on here, Leo. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh, Major Arcana City, I'm with it. So you got the Hermit, the Magician, and the Empress here. And I feel like with this energies, I feel like this was exactly what I'm talking about. Whether this be a job or even in a relationship type thing. This can be in energies where we're kind of focusing on ourselves right now. It's like, okay, now that we got this feedback here, how can we further grow and further strengthen our confidence in ourselves here? Because I feel like, Leo, when we change up the way that we're thinking here with the Magician popping up, because the Magician is Mercury, that controls how we think, how we communicate. When we're doing, I feel like, stuff that is uplifting for ourselves and really finding that confidence, I feel like that's how we attract the situations that we want, getting that new job, getting that special someone. But I do feel like that there is something here about doing that internal work first, like really finding the areas where you can shine a little brighter and how we can refine that and really kind of nurture that energy, and then making that a routine. Because when you think about the Hermit, this is Virgo energy, and one of the things that they're about is a routine. And I almost feel like with this too, just getting in the routine of just like on just even a bigger level, with Venus being in Leo for as long as she's going to be in there, because she'll be in Leo until pretty much the beginning of October. Great for making you like just treating yourself and just getting in your Empress vibe, feeling in that state of confidence and security and foundation, you know what I mean? Because I feel like that when we're feeling good, feeling confident, there's really nothing that can rock an Empress at the end of the day. She creates her own opportunities, and I feel like for some others, if we are going through, maybe we're going through a breakup right now, or maybe even possibly a divorce, that can be tough energy, especially if we were invested in something for quite a while, and then it's like your whole foundation is rocked. And it's just like, how do we build ourselves up again? But I feel like it's reminding ourselves, because sometimes that can feel like the end of the world when we are kind of cutting cords and things have reached that final chapter and things along those lines. But the thing is, you've been in your Empress energy before you met this person. You were probably working on yourself. I mean, you were self-sustaining beforehand. And sure, when we get together, we kind of start pulling things together, and that can, when that foundation gets pulled apart, that can be a little weird. But it's something where I feel like that we can feel that we need others in order to build ourselves back up, or it gets in almost like this kind of like, almost like a codependent type of vibe here, Leo. But I feel like it's reminding yourself that you do have all the tools you need to get back up on your feet. You know, that this isn't again, that this isn't the end of you, or that, you know, that life isn't over, that it really is just beginning. And now you're getting ready to take this, what you learned from these situations, because even if this is a breakup, you know, you've learned about what you like in a relationship, how you respond. Not even how you respond, but just like, you know, how you operate in relationship. You learned what you want from someone, you know what I mean? And also what others kind of expect from you. You see how you're operating. You get a feel of how your dynamic is with another person. It really does help you set the tone for the next person. But I do feel like that when we are moving on, we don't want to get in this place where we're setting up like hoops or anything along those lines, where I get, you know, divorces and breakups and things can be tough. And, you know, we get to this place of, we want to try to get out of or don't want to get into like a jaded type of place where it's just like, or like an area where it's just like, well, in order for me to be with the person, I need you to do X, Y, and Z or something like that. Or like, I'll never date, like, let's say, for example, if this happens to be a Virgo, you know, maybe you're just like, oh, I'll never date Virgos again or something like that. And it's just like, we want to be careful about saying never and things, because we could be closing ourselves off to different opportunities. So, and just one last thing with this energy, just thinking with the Empress being in your sign, you know, on the lower end, Leo energy tends to be a little over dramatic at times, you know. And listen, I can, you know, hey, you know, don't come at me, Leo. I got a whole stack of Leo, so I can say that. But I do feel that sometimes things can get a little over dramatic at times, especially when feelings get heated and stuff. So we just want to be mindful, I feel like, of making a situation, like bringing unnecessary strain and things into your life. Let's see what else we got here. Interesting. Okay, so we have the Four of Wands, the Death card, and then the King of Swords. And with this energy here, Leo, I feel like that there is a lot of wisdom that's coming from this. You know, when things do close out, you know, with the Four of Wands, especially because now this is, the Four of Wands can be a card of marriage. But when I feel like when things do kind of come to a close, whether this be marriage, maybe this is a job, something along those lines, is asking yourself, what wisdom are we taking from this? In what ways did this thing change us? Because especially if this is like, well, on either end, these situations have happened for a reason. You know, they are helping you change to help you embody that confidence, you know, really get into your Empress energy. But it's, in order to get that wisdom, King of Swords, we have to, again, take what we've learned and put it into practice, whether this be doing some kind of self-care here. And I feel like, you know, something too in these situations where I know this can be kind of tough depending on how things may have gone down, but this really is a time to celebrate, because now you're going on to the next chapter, and now the opportunities and things that you create it's just like it opens up a whole new world. You know, the world is your oyster right now. So it's just like, what do you want to do with these energies here? I like that, Leo. All right, let's get another oracle on this. Thank you. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, Leo, looks like we might need to make some peace with this. Ooh, and all this Scorpio energy. You got the second card of Scorpios here, which is the Olive Branch card. And with this card, this is a card of truce, surrender, giving in, come to terms, suspend, lull, de-escalate, make amends, peace offering, winding down, halt, reprieve, ceasefire, treaty, and agree to disagree. And so, really, kind of piggybacking off this Dear John thing, I feel that however this rejection went down, whether we've got turned down from jobs and things, whatever, I feel like that it's trying not to, again, to get so fixated on the rejection aspect of it. I feel like it's really focusing again on what wisdom did you get from this? What did you learn? How did this change you, because this will affect, even for like a job thing, if we've been getting that feedback, then that's going to change how you go about approaching, maybe instead of, because listen, I used to I did all like a little jack of all trades here, did kind of a little mix of jobs here, but I was a recruiter for a spell. And you can get a lot of, like, just with job stuff, I feel like it really makes a strong statement. I feel like, especially in the eyes of like rejection, when you can come and be the bigger person, because most of the time it's just like usually it's like you get those rejections and then it's just like, oh well, delete, and just like, maybe we feel down, maybe we may go out and kind of drink about it, or it's not a judgment thing, Leo, but I feel that when we, on the job end, when we make that impression, just like hey, what can I learn? Recruiters remember that, just if you happen to be working with people, or even like people your interviewer will remember that kind of stuff. They may keep you logged in, and it's just like, Leo, maybe come back and maybe get maybe another year of experience, another X amount of time, and they'll get you logged in. And when your stuff comes through, they're just like, oh, they're that person that did such and such. And then because everybody's keeping notes and things usually, and that makes a strong impression, because that shows me too. Like if I was your interviewer, for example, okay, this person is willing to learn, you know what I mean, that this one is tenacious, and really just talking about the interviewing thing, it really is like it's kind of silly playing the game sometimes, like that's why I kind of ended up leaving eventually, but because it can really kind of weighing down on your self-esteem sometimes. I feel like, honestly, sometimes unnecessarily, but when we can come to terms with that and make peace with that, just like, what, this is, it's part of the process, but it is helping you grow in the long run. There's a freedom that I feel like comes with that. It helps, it makes it so that this stuff really just kind of bounces off you. I feel like that comes with time. But I do feel like that if this is, if this is more on the relationship type of end, I feel like that when we're dealing with breakups and divorces and things and separations, that's already like hard enough as it is. And I feel like that if we drag out the drama and really make it a bigger deal than it needs to be, it's just like, how is that helping anyone? And listen, that's not to say, like, say for example, if this was something where someone did something to you, really kind of hurt you, not trying to absolve them of what they did, but what I like to tell people is that, at one point you did love this person, and I feel that it's remembering that, or trying this approach maybe, where it's just like, hey, it's not that you're pissed at them or anything along those lines. It's more so that I'm upset with how you're acting, because that's not how an empress acts. You know what I mean? You're better than that. And I feel like that when we can come from that approach, that gives that person less power. And it's more so about the situation at hand. And then when we can make peace with that, that de-escalates the situation. And even if this is something where maybe this other person is not trying to have a conversation, maybe we've already gotten heated and anything along those lines, then I feel like that's what we need to hermit about. If this is something where we can't make peace directly with them, then let's make peace with the thought that they did this, I felt this kind of way, be with that, process it, feel it. But again, be aware of what you're manifesting, because if you stay in your head too long, because the King of Swords, this is Gemini energy, and Mercury rules over Gemini. And I feel that if we keep staying in that energy, it's just going to perpetuate the problem, even when they're gone. You know, and who knows, like, I'm not saying that they've moved on per se, but we're not worried about them. You know, that bridge may be burned right now, but we can at least work on moving on and coming back into your power again, coming into that Empress energy and feeling confident and feeling on top of the world. But let's get some tarot on this. Oh, yeah, it's another nice little abundant pocket here, Leo. Okay. All right, Leo, let's see what we got here. So we have the Ace of Wands. Oh, we're dropping cards. We have the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Three of Pentacles, the Three of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Five of Swords, ooh, the Sword City, and then the Moon card. And so I really feel like, Leo, with the Two of Wands being here, let's start with this Wands energy. I feel like this energy is asking you, now that the situations have gone down, it's just like you have a choice of how you can respond to this, of how you can feel about this thing with these wands here. The aces are like my seed cards. And if we want to keep investing in how we've been feeling maybe cheated or been feeling rejected or been feeling that we've, focusing on the things that are lowering our vibration, then that's what's going to keep perpetuating. That's what's going to permeate in your world here. Because the moon is a card of illusions and deceptions and things, but it's not meant to, I feel like the energy is not trying to keep you in this place of feeling stuck. It's going to take some work, I feel like, to with the Three of Pentacles here, to process this thing, to really get over these feelings, because maybe we did. Because really all this Three of Swords, or all this Swords energy here, I feel like that, especially with you being a fixed sign, sometimes it can be hard to let go of this stuff, especially if we've been feeling hurt or we've been feeling like that we were, because who knows how this situation went down. This really got it to where I just feel like we want to be mindful of staying in this place of conflict with the Five of Swords and all this Swords energy here, because this all feels like it's trying to keep you, it's going to keep you, I feel like, in a stuck place here. And again, when we work on letting these things go, coming to terms with these situations and finding the wisdom, again, that can come from this stuff, how this, because even if this was something that was just really just kind of rocked your world, as crazy as it sounds, it really was. It's really getting you closer to your Empress energy, it's really strengthening you in a way that when we do. Because I feel like, Leo, it's one of those things that it gets easier each day, Every moment it's going to get a little bit easier. There are going to be times when you're feeling on top of the world, and then we may be a moment where we kind of relapse. Maybe we get reminded about, we're walking by somewhere and we're reminded of like our favorite places, or maybe we happen to see that like the company that we're doing, maybe things are really kind of taking off, or, we're at a job that is not ideal, but this stuff here, because when you think about after the moon, after we go through these trials and deal with this kind of darkness and kind of like do that shadow work with the Hermit and, process this stuff with the Death card, after the moon is the sun, your ruler. And that's going to be that place of enlightenment, that place of happiness, because now we've really had a moment to kind of shine some light on this stuff and see this situations for what they really are, which is just wisdom all over the place and growth. But it's something that I feel like that is going to take some practice, and we do have a choice in this, Leo. Because maybe the situation, it just kind of happened, it seemed to just kind of come out of nowhere here, and where I get that sometimes it can feel like situations and stuff can happen to us where we might be out of control of that thing. We can't control how we feel about it. And we just got done doing the monthly readings, and we're getting ready to get into Cancer season. So if any of this is resonating with you, do sit with these emotions. Be very present. I feel like in the future, be present with these rejections and observe, how relationships affect you, and you're not even just with this doesn't even have to be with love or anything. Maybe we got in a fight with a friend or something like that. Maybe there's a family member, whatever that's looking like. But I do feel like at some point there is I feel like when it's talking about surrender, it's like a peaceful surrender where it's just like, we're just like, okay, you know what, I am just gonna let this go. Okay, the lesson may not have been ideal, but I am going to be okay because you've gone through something like this in the past. You know what I mean? This isn't the first time you've been rejected or the first time that we've been in a tough situation. And what I've been saying here, or what I've been saying here recently is just like where, as we level up, the problems level up as well, but also the abundance. And usually, when we're working towards that Empress energy, it's all gonna be Empress status. Right? I'm with it. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's get your last card here. Thank you. Oh, interesting. All right. So you got the first card of Libras here, which is the Sword and Scales. And with this card, this is a card of truth, justice, due process, by the book, appeal, balance, make amends, law, integrity, cut to the chase, fair and square, fair play, equity, even keel, legal matters, and hear me out. And the things that stuck out to me, Leo, I feel like with this energy is the balance, but I almost feel like it's like, I almost feel like with the balance, I feel like it's almost just like, again, like how much energy we're putting into a situation or how much we're letting something affect us. And if it really does bother you, again, sit with that. And this might be something too where maybe if we're feeling like because I don't feel like that you're trying to, and I will say, you know what, now that I'm thinking about that, be careful, I feel like that, about wishing people that they get their justice or that they get their karma or something along those lines. Let the universe work that out. I feel like this is energy saying focus on getting yourself back in balance, paying attention to your energy. I feel like a good way to maybe balance this thing out, even if we can't talk with this person again, send them love and light and take care. You know what I mean? Because that's all we really want for them, higher vibration, so that they don't do this again to the next person that they may meet, and that's how they'll learn their lesson, but you focus on your balance and getting yourself back in line here. But the law and the legal matters did kind of pop up to me as well. And sometimes I feel like that when we think about like divorce and separations, really, like it's like it always gets such like a negative stigma. I feel like it's like as soon as it happens, it's like the relationships just completely crumble. It's like it's amazing how we can go from being so in love one moment, Four of Wands and things, and then to be in this place of where things just turn into a nightmare, where we're just fighting and it's just like, polar opposites. And I feel like those extremes, that's like that really does do a lot. And I feel that if we are able to make these situations as peaceful as possible, because listen, I went through a divorce a little while back, and honestly, where, it sucked that we had to get to that point because we had a pretty solid marriage and we honestly had a pretty solid divorce. And because I don't feel like that there was no need, because like why? I feel like this is something where create a safe space, a judgment-free zone, hear each other out, express your feelings, talk this stuff out here. But because I feel like that if that's possible, but you know, if your person is, if, you know, person is not responding, you know, well, or maybe, you know, trying to keep things, it's just like, well, you know what, then let's give them space, you know, let's maybe talk with our, if things have gotten to that point, you know, maybe we're talking, this is not legal advice, but, you know, maybe if we need to get any kind of lawyers or anything along those lines, let's try to keep this civil. Like, I feel like if they want to go throwing around energy and things, you know, kind of blowing up, being dramatic, okay, that's going to make you look better in the court's eyes. But I do feel like that if we can even try to be, you know, not even get to that place, you know, really try to get to where we do have, where it's just like, okay, let me hear you out, see where we're at here, let me hear ourselves out, and then maybe we can, maybe we may not be able to, I'm not saying you have to be like besties or anything along those lines, but at least we can go with some closure. You know what I mean? I feel like if you can find something in that, this can make this whole process a lot easier, because believe me, the courts and things, they'll make you, they can make your life hard by themselves, you know, like why add on that extra thing? If anything, you both are going to need to be on the same page here, because that, if we're fighting, that's just going to extend this process out even further. And it's just like, why drag this thing out, you know, unnecessarily? But let's get some tarot on this. Thank you. Let's see what we got here. So we got Queen of Pentacles, Four of Cups, Eight of Wands, Knight of Wands, and King of Pentacles. Interesting. And you know what, Leo? Because I feel like with this energy, because this is what I was talking about earlier, because that's interesting. Now you got divine counterparts here. And I feel like that with the King and Queen of Pentacles being here, especially if this is some kind of relationship or friendship or maybe even like a family thing, whatever the separation may be, you know, and then, you know, I wouldn't say they're involving the law, but there was love here at one point. And I feel like that it's remembering that, you know, that there was a foundation here. And sure, things might be, you know, because the thing is, people change, you know, with the Death card. And sometimes that that change may be where it's not you, you know, or it could be vice versa. Maybe this is you're telling them that it's not you, it's me. Like there's some growth here that I need to work on with the Hermit, but it's something that I do need to be by myself. You know, I need to kind of gain my independence back again. You know, just however this may be translating, but you know, I feel that why make enemies out of each other? You know, like it just seems that, because I feel like too with the Four of Cups, you know, because this energy can be like almost like an energy like I'm getting like I don't care, like, you know, like we may be telling ourselves just like, you know what, well, you know, F them, you know, I'm not worried about it, they don't mean anything to me, blah blah blah. And I feel like we want to be kind of mindful of that, because that is such an extreme shift. And I do feel like that's just because the emotions are just ripe right now, because the Four of Cups, this is the moon in Cancer. And that's where, you know, the moon's at home in Cancer. That just means that she's she's free to feel however she wants to feel. And you are, but I feel that if we feed into these kind of like hot energies with the Knight of Wands, this is one of your cards. This is the first two decans of Leo and the last of Cancers. And if we allow our emotions to run us and get into these just reactive energies, that's just going to stretch this situation out so much longer than it needs to. More? Okay, hold on, Leo, we're going to switch back over. But it's going to stretch this situation out way longer than it needs to. And I feel like the best way, or I don't want to say the best way, but I feel like one good way to get this ball moving is to, you know, really I feel like it's making peace with this, you know, and like, and really, you know, really extending an olive branch and being, I feel like, you know, and especially if we are getting in a place where maybe we're telling ourselves that we don't care, or that, you know, like, forget about them, like, I have no feelings for this or something, because the fact that we have to go out of our way to ignore them, or to even to say that, I feel like it's already, that's, you know what, I hope that makes sense. But I feel like that also this King and Queen of Pentacles is reminding us as well that it's not the end. You know, this isn't the last person that you're going to find, you know, like, because maybe this could be where we might even like think that we're going to give up on love or something along those lines. And I feel like that makes sense in the moment, be with those emotions, but realize that when you're ready for love again, it will come. And then the nice thing is, whatever this relationship, whatever lessons this relationship taught you, you know, when you do take a moment and kind of reflect on this stuff, once the heat might have calmed down a little bit, you're going to be able to get back out there again, Leo. You know, you'll feel, and it'll make sense. And I feel like this is something where you won't have to force it. It'll just happen naturally. I feel like with the Eight of Wands, and I feel like once we do put in that work and really start making that peace, things are going to start coming a lot faster than you think. You know, the growth and expansion and what's coming next will be incredible, because the Eight of Wands, that's Mercury and Sagittarius. And it's just thinking about that bigger picture. You know what I mean? Seeing how this has shaped you in the grand scheme of things. And I really feel like that's going to bring you balance. And, you know, Libra deals with relationships, and you know, the Empress, Venus, she rules over Libra. So I feel like that's focus on you, and I feel like that your divine counterpart will absolutely come in time here. So I think I'm going to leave that there, Leo. So yeah, if anything resonates with you, you know, give it a thumbs up and share this, because this can be tough, you know, when we're going through these situations and, you know, cutting cords and stuff like that. That is tough. You know, I'm not trying to diminish that. No, actually, let me move my camera over a little bit. But I'm not trying to make light of these situations or anything. And I'm not saying that this healing is going to happen overnight, or you're just like, go, Leo, do it now. You know, just like as it makes sense. You know, just like feel what you need to feel, but let's try our best not to exacerbate the problem. I'm about to get back into your reading. But then when you're done, subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each week. And then maybe something to think about while we're meditating on this, you know, while we're hermiting. I'm on this meditation app, Insight Timer, and I created a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a group to post like positive affirmations, encouraging messages. And, you know, as the group grows, I definitely want to start like scheduling different meditation groups, maybe like, you know, self-care with the Empress, or you know, transforming with the Death card, or something, going within with the Hermit, something along those lines. But definitely check that out, Leo. And then lastly, well, other than the Four of Cups here, if you got any Cancer in your placement, you know, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans. Lunar shenanigans with the moon here. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, so I can get you out of here and go out there and get your Wheel of Fortune. Because with the Wheel of Fortune, and let me get your Oracle card, because there is abundance in this situation. An abundance of what we were talking about earlier, wisdom. You know, abundance comes in many forms. And this is just a cycle that you're going through right now, you know, with the Wheel of Fortune. And we can determine, it's like how I was saying, where we may not be able to control how a situation's gone down. We can control how we feel about it. And that is going to affect where that wheel goes. You know what I mean? It's how do we make the best out of a weird situation like this. Ooh, more lunar shenanigans. Then the full moon on top of that. How do we make the most out of this situation here? Finding the ways, like I was talking about. Oh, where'd you go? Four of Wands. You know, we're completing a cycle here. And this, I feel like right now, you know, if this is something that is happening, because I don't feel like this is like if we're in a relationship, I'm not sensing that there's some weirdness. This is like if there's already some kind of existing things, or maybe stuff has been feeling kind of off for a while. I feel like that this full moon is remembering that, where, again, maybe this is not because when you think about the lunar cycle, the new moon is when we're planting the seeds, the intentions, you know, the Ace of Wands, where we put our energy into. And if things didn't quite come to fruition like you thought it was going to with the full moon, you know, when it gets onto the waning half of the phases, that's a time of reflection. Oh, where'd you go, Hermit? A time of going within and processing how this things went down here. And it's going to be, give it a lunar cycle or 2 or 3. And you will notice with time that this is going to get a lot easier. And you know, and again, with the moon being here, allow yourself, try not to suppress those feelings. Allow yourself, if you're angry, feel that anger. Be in a safe space for yourself, feel that anger. You know, if you're sad, feel that sadness. And then see where that's like, and see what we can, once we process that, how do we want to invest in ourselves? You know, what does that action look like? So how do we get back to feeling confident, feeling like an empress? Because this is a very abundant little pocket here. I love when Jupiter and Venus pop up together, because you got the great benefactor and the small benefactor here. And it's going to take some small wins at first, you know, putting in that work, doing that self-care, being with these feelings. But once you do, it's going to lead to that big win, abundance all over the place. So I like that, Leo. Nice little ending there. So you stay safe out there with all these feelings, you know, and possible rejections and stuff. You know, try to keep a cool head, especially with Mars still being in your sign till about early July, and Venus being in your sign for a while. Because there probably is going to be some stuff coming up here with like relationships and things, you know, because she's going to be forming conjunctions with your signs, and you know that leads to changes. It's going to take on, we're thinking about security here, so just pay attention to that, Leo. And I say raise your vibration to the roof, because if not, do that. Absolutely do that. Raise it to Venus. Let her know that you heard her message, and that absolutely we're gonna make a pit stop at with Venus and get our ways to that big abundance there. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.